These are the results of crazy news coming from the OCG. Of course, Cyberstorm Access retraining some really popular cards and then printing some absolutely broken cards, game-changing even. And then of course the continuation and perhaps the finale of the branded storyline. I think these are really obvious trends and I'd hate to see you miss out. So keep watching, stay tuned, and find out what exactly the cards are you need to get for 2023. Coming up first is Tri-Brigade Morganite. If you saw my community post I did a few days ago, I talked about the card and how broken it can be. And I'm curious if Cypher's Delta will make a comeback, a return, because of how good Tri-Brigade Morganite is. As for right now, the decks that can impact the game with Tri-Brigade Morganite, some things that come to mind are decks that don't need hand effects. Dracoslayer is an amazing example, and the deck is really good and does not care about any hand effects. We don't even need to run hand traps. So if we resolve Tri-Brigade Morganite, also if we can find a way to set for Soul of Judgment or anything like that post siding, there really is no way to beat that board. And I'm curious how the card would actually make an impact. The OTG and the TCG have a lot of disparity between what trends are supposed to follow up and what trends don't. Other decks that come to mind are, your classic stun decks. The kind of being amazing support in Cyberstorm Access and then having Tri-Brigade Morganite in the exact same pack, kind of a show and tell of what might happen. Yes, the new Satellite Constellar boards are quite combo heavy and aren't as control heavy. I think with Tri-Brigade Morganite, that old school style of Satellite which we all love might make a comeback. Another deck is Magical Musketeers. Of course, the deck is known to activate spells from their hand, spell and traps, not monsters, so Tri-Brigade Morganite has a really great synergy with the deck. Also, you can summon your Starfire and you can summon your Casper on the field with an extra normal summon, meaning you can go crazy and on your opponent's turn have a lot of advantage. Also, you can't get hand trap now, so your Casper won't be turned off and your Starfire won't be turned off, two of the most broken cards in Magical Musketeers. I'm a huge fan of that deck myself, and it's got a big community on Master Duel as well with Runic, so I wonder, will that be a deck? And then of course we got from Runic in the mix as well. I'm looking forward to this card's release, and I want to see how crazy and how busted it is and how it impacts the meta. There's some really great branded cards coming out, and we've actually seen a finalization of, I guess I want to call it season 1 of the branded storyline. Of course, Alban ad libitum is still alive, but we've seen in the new field spell for Albaz and Spring and Kit that the storyline seems to have concluded for now. So I'm curious what's going to happen next. It definitely looks like we're getting more branded cards down the line, and if you've noticed anything from the Dual Terminal lore, the War Legacy lore, and the branded season 1 lore, we're gonna keep getting broken, insane cards for these storylines and these archetypes. This is Copia, but I'm personally hoping for a Vice Starfrost / Vicious Stroud teleport into the Despia world and they become the mega villains. That would be absolutely crazy. I think holding onto your fusion cards, holding onto your Guardian Chimeras, of course getting a reprint in Amazing Memories, and then looking out for those new trap cards coming out in Cyberstorm Access. There's a lot of crazy things happening right now. Yu-Gi-Oh! I think the branded storyline is one to hold on to. Speaking of holding on to stuff, the Prismatic Secret Rares from the Megaton 2022, best to try and get those cards now while you can, because they definitely will go up, and we can see that with the Ultimate Rare Full of Albaz and of course the Ultimate Rare Alibar. The Tri-Brigades are getting absolutely crazy support. We have a new quick play spell that could be a really great disruption on the opponent's turn. Of course, the new Link 5 Tri-Brigade monster is even better with the new Tri-Brigade spell and traps. And then we also have the Springans. Yes, you heard it right, Springans is not a meme deck anymore. You can now do the Sprite combo in Springans with Therion Regulus and a lot more. So I think Springan is actually going to be a really good rogue deck. And also let me know in the comments down below if you want me to cover the deck. Moving on to my favorite topic, Scareclaw / Manadome. If you saw my Manadome reveal video, definitely go check that out. It's a really fun one. The Manadome Real Heart, tying in every single heart monster into one deck. I think the heart deck is now a playable thing, and I know a lot of people are curious about that deck and the lore. Of course, you saw Vicious Stride also released, and they were coming into the same pack. This is why I say Synchro is making a comeback, because we're getting a really cool Synchro spam archetype. The best part is Manadome Real Heart and his friends don't really lock you into things that hinder your gameplay or hinder your end board. You can still end on crazy stuff like the Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon and the Ultimate Zokin. Of course, Vice Starfrost a level 6 tuner. Making a Chart Warrior is super simple with the new level 2 tuners and Manadome Real Heart, which makes things really easy. I think Ultimate Zokin might make a comeback now, and as well as I mentioned before, you do Chaos Monsters, which is actually what we're talking about for the 4th pick. New Chaos Angel, a generic removal, really similar to Underworld of the Goddess. Obviously, when you use a Darker Light material, you get extra effects, and you can treat a Darker Light as a tuner. So that's a really big deal, guys, and probably what's going to make a deck like Manadome really strong as well. Great synergistic archetype with Manadome is Scareclaw, because Scareclaw can search Vice Starfrost and summon Lightheart using Vice Starfrost. The two engines work so well together. And don't forget, Vice Starfrost is a light type, Rykart is a dark type. There is your new level 10 Synchro. You can summon a Baron as an Omni Negate. It's so easy to bring out a crazy negate Tri-Brigade board now, and also OTK with the Tri-Heart. So I feel like these two decks combine, and that's what the new Scareclaw deck will become. Of course, let me know if you want to see that as well. If you want me to do some dual commentary or a deck profile or even a combo guide on Scareclaw Manadome, let me know in the comments down below. I think that'd be really fun to do as the hype of Scareclaw starts to build up. We're seeing a lot more people look at the deck now, and it's a potential Kashtira engine as well. It's a version of Kashtira which is really successful thanks to the Scareclaw Kashtira, of course, being a one card that goes into Lightheart, which searches the primitive Rhycophobia, which can search a monster like Rhycart and then search the spells and traps. So I think it's a really strong engine and potentially a way to play Kashtira if when they get hit on the ban list. And obviously as the cards are going up in price, I highly recommend picking them up right now before they go even higher. In one of my previous videos I talked about the Dragon's Collide structure deck and how it's the next one in line for future support. We have one card fusion summon, we have one card exceed summon, and now we have single summons that don't even need a tune anymore. I wonder what Konami are going to do next, but for now this card is going to terrorize the meta, and I think also will be a staple in most decks. Summoning it with a light monster means your synchro monsters are unaffected by opponent's monsters' activate effects. So again, if you're linking this back to Manadome, if you're playing a deck like Manadome, maybe a deck like Punk, and it's going to make things even more difficult to break boards. Of course, at 3500 stat line, it's going to be hard to even destroy this card. So I'm curious how people are going to get rid of this card. Will we go back to board removal in the main deck? This card doesn't even need to banish with a synchro summon, it's with a special summon. So you can even do things like monster your board. You can even bring it back with other cards like Baron, for example. Keep banishing cards in the field with the Bystials hanging around the meta. I don't think Bystials will ever die if we're gonna become a norm for Yu-Gi-Oh! They're so powerful, they're so generic. Of course, Light and Dark decks are generally the best decks in the game. And with a monster like Chaos Angel, I think the Bystials are gonna be even stronger. Probably something really sought after 6 months, 12 months from now. So I feel like cards like Bystials, mixed with the Chaos Angel, are gonna be super strong. I definitely need to pick up those Bystials right now. Another really interesting discussion, the dual terminal lore. We've seen a lot of upgrades that retro reloaded takes on cards that existed before. We've got Naturia cards, which is now Naturia Ishizu, Naturia Runic, a really powerful archetype, and then we've got other ones like Larval support, which weren't that great. We've got Dragunity support, we got Necro support, we got Gishki support. Point is, what is next up on the line? What haven't we seen that is gonna come out eventually, maybe this year? I think it's gonna happen. And so that's another interesting discussion topic, is what can we expect to see, and what other cards you might want to pick up now, so when it releases you won't regret later. Now me personally, I'm a huge fan of Steel Swarm. One of my favorite monsters, maybe in my top 3, is Steel Swarm Hercules. So if you're anything like me and you like the Steel Swarm archetype or the Evil Swarm archetype, some other really interesting archetypes that I cannot wait to get new support on is Jurak, one of my favorite archetypes, and X-Ape is a really popular deck that's actually played, I believe, in the Edison format, one of the retro formats of Yu-Gi-Oh! B4 and Inferno, 2 more archetypes. Guys, I'm just listing so many at this point. With the new Gishki support coming out, Photon Hypernova, with Satellinite have some access, it's obvious that the trend is continuing, so it's just a matter of time until we see the rest of the archetypes get support. I think this is a really exciting thing to happen, and maybe cards you want to pick up right now. That's been the video, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so the YouTube algorithm sees us. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm kind of memorized that script by now. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of January, and I'll see you guys in the next one.